Typhoon Vamco remains a very dangerous storm system as it nears Vietnam here on the 14th of November. 2020. I'm going to get into the forecast here in just a second on this storm, but first I want to show you some video out of the Philippines where we are still seeing some very significant flooding out here. Absolutely catastrophic damage has been left behind by Vamco, known as Ulysses here locally. Actually, the Maricana River at these flood levels that have not been seen since Undoy in 2009. The death toll has climbed now to 14 people. Over a dozen people are still missing, and just the amount of homes damaged, the amount of lives that have been impacted by this storm system is on levels we have not seen yet in 2020. So just my heart goes out to everybody here. Here's a look at the NASA imagery here, just kind of give you an idea of these systems. Atsani, then we had Goni, and now we had Ulysses, known as Vamco, move over the Philippines. It's these back-to-back storms which have been bringing this copious amount of precipitation on already saturated ground, thus the flooding we are seeing here today. Actually, this is the last 7 days. The Philippines is under there, I promise you, and over 500 millimeters in widespread areas has fallen on Luzon. That's the last week. Over the course of the last month and a half, some areas over 1,000 millimeters have been seen. And thus, these images you are just seeing out here, absolutely heartbreaking. If there's any good news, behind the storm, we are looking at a bit of dry air that is filtering in. So at least today, I don't see any precipitation out here across the country. And if we go further towards the east, I know it feels like a broken record, a train of storms out here. Finally, I think this storm system, Ulysses, was the unfortunate caboose in this train of storms, because back towards the east, I don't see anything developing in the near or even the long term for that matter. Yeah, we do get some cloud cover, a little bit of tropical waves in some of the long range models, but nothing is spinning up a storm system right now. Going to keep an eye on it. Definitely want to continue to watch it. But let's get back to this storm. It's not over yet. Vietnam is going to be impacted by damaging winds, life-threatening storm surge. Winds right now 148, gusting to 277 kilometers per hour. Pressure is at 955 hectopascals. It is cruising off here towards the west at about 20 kilometers per hour. There's the latest track from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. They actually hold this a bit stronger than with the Japan meteorological agencies, with winds about 100 knots sustained. Here's the key thing, though. Look at that wind field north of the center of circulation. It actually extends out pretty far. And in fact, winds right now 100 knots, but they will start to drop down. That is also a combination of that wind extending off towards north. It's the interaction with the northeast monsoon, thanks to this high pressure over Japan and eastern China. That interaction is creating that large wind field, but it also is going to allow some of that dry air and shear the filter into the storm. Thus, the intensity is peaking right now prior to landfall. Probably still going to see a typhoon, but at least it will have weakened slightly. That heat engine will be kind of infiltrated by that dry air, and you get that condensational cooling. Should start to weaken it, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really reduce any significant impacts out here, especially as far as rainfall is concerned. So here's a look heading into Saturday afternoon. A storm comes on shore right near DaNang, major metropolitan area there, millions of people. Widespread wind field off towards the north. Heading into Sunday morning, it pushes on shore. That persistent flow of rainfall into the mountains here is really what I'm worried about as far as that threat of flooding. Just like the Philippines, one storm after another is creating saturated ground, and then you get just more precipitation on top of that. Really going to be bringing that threat of some significant life-threatening widespread flooding. Not only that, but the damaging wind here and storm surge very well likely north of DaNang. If you found this video useful, hit that subscribe button. Not only that, but also I'm going to be making a new video about what in the world has been going on out here across Southeast Asia over the last month and a half. It's just been a record amount of storms in such a short period of time this late in the season. I'm going to talk about that. So if you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button as well, you get notified once I put those updates out. Also follow me on all these social media platforms. I not only discuss Western Pacific conditions, talk about weather around the world. So just be aware of that. It's going to be a variety of stuff if you follow me here. But first of all, stay safe out there. Our goal is out to everybody being impacted by these storms. It has been relentless. Hopefully the water levels start to go down, but it's going to be some time just because of the amount of precipitation we have seen, especially across the Philippines. Stay safe out there. And as always, thanks for watching.